So the Antichrist, aka President Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, has declared himself essentially the president also of Venezuela. You may say, no, he didn't. I'm going to show you he kind of actually has. They went to Venezuela, okay, because the United States is the beacon of justice and hope across the world. We have over 800 military bases spread across the earth. You got to understand. In Venezuela, the justice just wasn't what it needed to be. So President Trump had to go down there and, kidnap, the president of Venezuela. Something that, people would say would be the worst thing in the world, someone were to come and kidnap President Trump. Some people wouldn't like that, but I'm saying people say it would be terrible and that's straight from the devil for someone to kidnap the president. But he can go to Venezuela and kidnap their president, which is something that actually happened. I'm making this up. On my channel, I don't make this up. It's just not a lie. It's 100% truth, okay? Let's hear what he has to say for a second, though.
We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until
He said, look, man, Donald Trump the kind of guy. That's one thing I will say about Donald Trump is he a liar. He a liar. But he also lets you know he a liar. He just said, look, we're just going to run it, okay? We're going to take the oil, whatever we can get. We're going to do what we're going to do. All right, he looked up from the notes, like, look, I'm just going to tell you, we're going to run it. And this is the thing. There's no reason for Donald Trump to be scared of the Democrats. There's no reason for Donald Trump to be scared of the Republicans. He's the president of the world, okay? He doesn't need... Seriously, I'm not exaggerating this. Think about this. Think about this. What do you think people would say if President Obama, George W. Bush, okay, Bill Clinton, any of them people went into another nation, kidnapped their president, okay? Just did it in the beginning of the New Year's. Let's just go to South America and just take over a nation and kidnap their president. And let's just have a report right in the morning, and then we'll just keep things moving. Okay, think about it. Think about this. When President Bush, okay, and Dick Cheney, all right, went into Iraq, all right, they had to wage a big old war. All right, they had to, my opinion, which is, you may not believe this, but in my opinion, they actually staged, okay, they caused what happened on 9/11, okay. They caused that to happen. All right, that was an attack on us by us, okay? So that they could open up a door to go into Iraq. And then, even though they knew that it was not Saddam Hussein who did it, it was bin Laden, for what they said, okay? Bin Laden was working for the U.S. also, okay? But anyway, and he was actually a U.S. asset, which is actually a fact. They said, let's go stop Saddam, okay? So, U.S. tears the Ba'ath Party down in Iraq. Okay, which was the government that Saddam Hussein was over. All right. And all that stuff is stopping. Now they've taken their role. You may say, well, what's the difference now? Well, Donald Trump said, I don't need a war. I just go over there, bomb them, kidnap their president just like that. All right. For all the people that have been saying Donald Trump is not a man of war, all the people that have been saying, oh, President Obama, he was a man of war, man of war. So what war did he go into? Oh, he's a man of war. I'm not saying this if you're a pro-Obama or against Obama. I'm just saying people have been saying for years that he was a man of war, but he never went into actual war. Okay, he never did nothing like this. Okay, he just got some few terrorists. That's it. Okay, sent some drones. Donald Trump said, "Look, we gonna go to South America, a nation that's not attacking us. We think that they're a nation full of drugs, that the United States is not. Okay, and we're gonna go based on some lies and based on some things that they're doing, which is their own business. Even though I'm not saying that what they're doing right, but it is their own business. We're gonna go over there as another nation. Now." Don't you know that when you do things like this, we do things like this, these things come back upon us. Let's continue.
This time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela.
Oh, we're going to go to Fox News. So we got to go to Fox News. I want you guys to hear how Fox News spin as well. Let's listen to a little bit more of this.
Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure. They start.
He ain't even hiding it. Look, they were pumping enough oil as they were supposed to. So we have to go in there, Big Daddy USA, and fix it and get the oil out of there. He ain't even hiding it. Ain't even hide. And it's like, why hide it? Why? He doesn't need to hide it. We are not in 2001. We are not in 1999. We are not in 1989. Okay. He doesn't need to hide it. He can come right out on TV. And the truth be told, you cannot blame Trump. You cannot. This is the guy that literally said I could shoot somebody, okay, in the middle of the street in New York. This is what he said. And I will not lose a single vote. And he can sit there and say, look, we're just going to go. I think that when they was writing this speech, Donald Trump was like, look, I want y'all to put in there. I don't care what y'all say. No. I want y'all to put in this speech that we're going to go get the oil. That they weren't doing right with the oil. But yeah, but the president, that don't look good. It makes sense. We're trying to steal the oil. Look, that's what we're doing. Okay, just put it in there. Okay, Donald Trump is the big boss. All right, he doesn't care about how things look. Things look as he says they should look. Okay,
making money for the country anywhere in the world. Go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed.
Now, didn't I tell you guys, excuse me, on this channel, that the Antichrist, Donald Trump, and when I call him Antichrist, I'm not saying that as a name call, not name calling. This man is actually Antichrist, okay? He's the Antichrist the Bible's talking about. I have videos on that on my page. There are people that have been speaking about this for years, okay? But that's not something I'm going to today. But as you can see, I've said on this channel before that the Antichrist, Donald Trump, the way he has been acting, okay, the way he has been treating other nations, it's a sign of what is to come. It's a sign of what he's going to do. He's showing you what's in his heart. Okay, he's showing you how he's going to be dealing with these different nations. And now, overnight, he just went in and said, look, we're going to do this. It's nothing to stop Donald Trump from going and attacking any nation on the face of this earth. Nothing. Not the media, okay? Not the Republicans, not the Democrats, not you, not me. Nothing on earth can stop him. Okay, outside of God's hand and God's power can stop this man from doing whatever he wants to do. And I want you to understand there's going to be evangelical Christians or so-called Christians and people that are saying they're of the church and people saying they're of God. They're going to be behind him, okay? Saying if he does something, then it's God's will. No matter what he does, it's God's will, okay? If he murders all these people, look, listen, it's God's will. They were criminals. It's God's will. If Donald Trump sent the army into the streets, into, the urban cities, and then start having people get shot in the middle of the street, there will be evangelical Christians sitting there saying, well, look, it's God's will. They were criminals. They were this, they were that. It's nothing you have to understand, it's nothing this man cannot do. There's nothing he cannot do.
That a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually.
Okay, so let's go look at this Fox News story real quick, y'all. Okay, so are you guys ready for Donald Trump, President Trump, okay, bootlicking Academy 101? This is it, all right? It's not like we haven't seen this before, okay? Just a few years ago, okay? These people sitting here were all alive to see President Bush and Cheney use the Fox machine to cover up war and all kind of stuff. And it's almost like universally known that all of that stuff was staged just to steal their oil. Okay, when they went in, they even called it OIL, Operation Iraqi Liberation. They even named it off of oil. Then they changed it to Operation Iraqi Freedom. Okay, it's a fake. Look it up if you don't believe me. All right. So they were saying, look, we did all this to get their oil. Here it is. It's happening again. And you just saw the video, Donald Trump saying, look, they weren't doing right by the oil. We're going to go in there. We're going to get the oil. We're going to make it right. We're going to take their money. It's as simple as that. Okay. I'm President Trump. I do what I want to do. So here are the bootlickers here. They just graduated from Donald Trump Bootlicking Academy. And now it's their time to shine.
And as I suspected we were likely going to see this morning, Democrats are coming out and challenging the legality of this operation. We already have Congressman Jim McGovern saying that this was unjustified, that was carried out, and that it was not authority. He said, without authorization from Congress and with the vast majority of Americans opposed to military action, Trump just launched an unjustified illegal strike on Venezuela. I suspect we'll hear other Democrat voices challenging it as well. What do you make of it?
I would think you would want to at least tell Congress. I mean, you're attacking another nation, which could put everyone in the United States in danger. I'm just saying. Just think about it. You know what I mean? You're kind of attacking another nation without other folks knowing about it. You could cause all of us to lose our lives. I mean, just think about it. But hey, he's a responsible guy. He's the president of the United States. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to put your life in his hands. You know what I mean?
Americans opposed to military action. Trump just launched an unjustified illegal strike on Venezuela. I suspect we'll hear other Democrat voices challenging it as well. What do you make of it?
You know those bad, evil Democrats. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Okay, as I'm making this video, you may think, oh, he's a Democrat. That's why he's saying this. No, I'm not. All right, but I gotta say this. So those stupid daggone Democrats that are getting in Donald Trump's way, if they would just stop talking. That's basically what they're saying. They're making it a partisan thing. It's not a partisan thing. You went to war, attacked another nation, okay, without them attacking us. Didn't even try to create a lie. At least with President Bush, and they try to make a lie. They say, oh, they weapons of mass destruction, this and that. They try to say something. They just, oh, look, well, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they got drugs there. Like we don't have drugs here. And, you know, they're not doing it with the oil that they got. So we can go in there, invade them, and, you know, take the president out of there, get rid of him. You know, that's all we just a little invasion, take over the nation, you know, take over the oil. You know, that's all we're going to do. Didn't even try to lie. He said, I don't need a lie. All right. And now somebody going to pop up and say, wait a second, that's wrong. Meaning that person is wrong for saying that it's wrong, okay? Because when he comes to, because you're the president of the United States, you're essentially like God. Really, that's how people look at him. He's like, especially if you're a Republican, you're on the side of the God, you're on the side of the church, supposedly. You do whatever you want to do.
Well, good morning. And Jim McGovern's an old friend of mine. He's an old Massachusetts liberal, my age. He's been wrong for as long as I've been right. And in fact, this is well within President Trump's Article 2 authority. It is a replay of the 1989 Operation Just Cause that George H.W. Bush launched to capture and spirit Noriega out of Panama. He was also a narco-cartelist tyrant, and he ended up spending the rest of his days in jail. Here's the deal. The president can do this. It's very impressive.
All right, he can do this, y'all. Stop. Just calm down. Don't forget about the fact that, you know, the United States kind of was making a profit from all those narcos. They're making a profit bringing bringing cocaine over to the United States, and they had an actual profit from all of that stuff going on. But then they were moving people in and out the way. They were calling people drug runners and all this kind of stuff. What they were actually doing was moving people out the way who was not giving them the money they wanted. And they're a part of that whole thing. That's how we had the crack epidemic in the 80s. That was because of the United States. Okay, you know, they blame on other nations. They were in lockstep with other nations, and they were bringing into the United States. The USA as a government was doing that. Okay, but they're trying like, oh, well, you know, see, Trump is doing nothing different than them, as if what they was doing back then was good. It's like me stabbing somebody, and the person bleeding to death, and then my brother does the same thing, and he said, look, it's just like my brother my older brother who stabbed so and so. You know what I mean? It's no different. Yeah, both of us was wrong. Okay, it's because you did the same thing doesn't mean it's right.
It certainly follows through, as Donald Trump does, on a threat, as he did with Iran last summer. He said, I'm going to act if you don't stop building nukes. He told Maduro, I'm going to come and get you if you don't stop tyrannizing your country. As Ms. Machado said on tape, Juan Guaido said 4 years ago, Maduro has been a ruthless tyrant dictator since he took over for Hugo Chavez, who was himself a dictator. This is great news for the 30 million people of Venezuela. I am mostly concerned for the 20,000 plus Americans who are in Venezuela right now, because it's still a police state. There's still a Cuban Security Service-backed police operation there. And hopefully the people of Venezuela who have risen up time and time again against the dictators Maduro and Chavez rise up today in the streets like the people in Iran are doing. And bravo to President Trump. It's well within his presidential powers. So our friends on the left who have been wrong about international operations since Reagan invaded Grenada, this is good news for everyone who loves freedom, and especially for the Venezuelan people.
The video at getting involved.
Sorry about the commercial there. So basically how they're going to say it is, you know, at the end of the day, look, President Trump can do what he wants to do.
In some long protracted military operation. His supporters are not interested in that. But as Griff points out, you already are going to start seeing Democrats, and there are others who are carping about this. How do you see the see the politics of this playing out domestically here in the United States?
Well, I would hope that every Republican, I know Mike Lee's got his question, but I read the tweets this morning of Deputy Secretary of State Chris Landau. We'll hear at the press conference that President Trump will hold a little bit later that he's very confident of his legal authorities. I'm sure he had the opinion of the White House counsel, the Department of Justice, the Office of Legal Counsel, saying it's well.
No, he says, look, I'm going to do this and nobody's going to stop me. Okay, I'll probably end the video with this. I said this before. When President Trump was the president in his first term, all right, there were things that he wanted to do and people were stopping him, and because he was new to the game and he had to find a way to get rid of people. So that's why his first, if you look at it, when he came in, the first administration that he had, the first cabinet, all the people that he had in his cabinet, he fired almost every single person that he had. Okay, almost every single person he had, he fired them. All right, you look at his cabinet from when he came in, when he left. That's all right now, for example. He had Mike Pence as vice president before. Now who does he have? Another person. He has J.D. Vance. Okay, why did he change the vice president? Was it because Mike Pence died? No. Mike Pence is still alive. But he didn't pick Mike Pence because he almost had Mike Pence killed when he had an insurrection against the USA and this is what Donald Trump told his followers. He basically was saying Mike Pence was in the wrong because Mike Pence had to verify the votes that would make President Trump not the president anymore. Okay, and he didn't like that, so he told Mike Pence to basically break the law. Mike Pence said, "I'm not going to break the law, Mr. President." All right, because at the end of the day, it's going to count against me. At the end of the day, you're not going to help me. All right, President Trump said, "Okay, well, some people want to come and hang you," and they actually came with a gallows to hang Mike Pence. And did President Trump tweet and say, "Stop, don't hurt him"? No, he didn't do that at all. He said actually he deserves what's going to happen, and it happens to him. This is what he tweeted. He said he deserves the bad news going to happen to him. The bad news that they're going to happen to him because he won't stop this voting process. Okay, if it wasn't for that hand of God, Mike Pence could have actually lost his life. He could have been hung. The vice president could have been hung. All right, literally in D.C. at an insurrection that the president actually created. And he did create that whole entire insurrection. He called for it. He tweeted about it and said, it's going to be wild. He tweeted about it long before it ever happened. Okay. He created the whole entire thing. I think they called it Stop the Steal. All right. The Stop the Steal rally, whatever it was called. All right. But it was just criminal activity. 5 people lost their lives. President Trump was not charged for any of those things, but he should have been charged for all of them. Okay. They should have hit him with some type of RICO or thing or something like that to connect him to it because he was the one who created it. He's the one who promoted it. He's the one who pushed it. He's the one who told him to go down there to the place where they were verifying the votes. All right, he told them he would be there, and he didn't go there. He's responsible 100% for all of that and for all those people dying. But people say, "Oh no, he's the best person," and they voted for him again. All right, he has no reason to be scared. There's no reason to not do whatever he wants to do. Okay, tomorrow he can go and invade any other nation if he wants to continue to steal, continue to rob. Okay, continue to pillage. The Bible says that the Antichrist will do these things. It says that he will go and basically take over nations. All right. And do all this kind of stuff. All right. And it's just begun. All right. It's just begun. I'm making this video just because I know that he also recently did something in Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. Trump did. But I'm making this video because I didn't make a video about that because this video, what happened here is very, very bold. This is very, very bold that you would kidnap the president just like that. It's just say we're going to go in and just grab the president and just openly do it. Not even try to lie. At least you expect the U.S. to try to lie something like, that he can't be found, he went into hiding. No, they just kidnapped him. They said, we got him. Okay, we didn't went in there, we just sit there. We ain't gonna try to lie to y'all, no reason to lie, okay? He's telling people all across the world, look, I'm gonna do this, I'm a gangster. I'm gonna do this stuff, and none of y'all gonna stop me, none of y'all can stop me. And if you try to say something against me, I got a whole media force to stop you, okay? I got Fox News, okay? I could even call Fox News if they, have somebody to say something I don't like, had them fired. You see what he did with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel don't work for Fox News, he worked for an opposing station. And what did Donald Trump do? He called up and he had the guy fired. Literally had the guy fired. And the guy just was able to get his job back, but Donald Trump had the guy fired. Okay. Donald Trump's telling you, look, I can do whatever I want to do. All right. Now what's the next thing he can do? He can take over all media. He can shut down. Think about what I'm saying before we get out of here. Think about this. If he can say that different nations are criminal organizations and therefore he has the right to go to Venezuela and to tear it down, whatever it case to be, okay? He can also say, look, well, these media outlets that are not pro-Trump, they're the same. They're speaking lies. Okay, that's why if you notice when Trump came in, because all the lies that Trump gives and that he has are for a reason, okay? Just like the devil, he says lies are like missiles sent to different nations. They're guided missiles. Every lie he has is a guided missile, okay? And you got to think about it. What was the lie that he always pushed? Fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, okay? He always pushes his fake news, fake news, fake news. All right. Now, why is that a lie? Well, because a lot of news that's true, he calls it fake, number one. And also because he wants you to feel like he's against fake news, when in actuality, Donald Trump is the king of fake news. Donald Trump, if you go back in his history, you'll find that Donald Trump paid to have fake articles put about him and lies he pushed about him. He even called impersonating people that were working for him to try to get him in different papers and so on and so forth. Okay, he's the king of lying. He's the king of fake news. Okay, but he came out in his first term saying, "Look, I'm against fake news. It needs to stop," and all kinds of stuff. All that was just a bunch of baloney. So he can remove the real news. Okay, and that's his plan as the real dictator and Antichrist that he actually is. His plan is to come and remove all opposing media. Okay, when he does that, it's over. That just like in 2020. That's why when 2020 happened. And I was trying to tell people, which I really couldn't as much as I wanted to, because YouTube, which is owned by Google, which is subservient to the government, okay, which is why they can do that. In 2020, they were doing all that mess. Okay, I was just saying I can't say much, the video will disappear, okay? And people try to speak against it. What did they do? Well, YouTube all of a sudden went from being that fun place where you can upload stuff, okay, to a place where they need to remove stuff if you spoke against a certain medication or the case may be. They said, you know, we're going to have to take a video down because you're saying talking this way, talking that way. That's what YouTube started to do. Okay, so I took one of my videos down. Okay, and then I think they gave me a strike on my channel. If you get 3 strikes, your whole YouTube channel can be deleted. Okay, they said, look, do this again. We're gonna do this again. Keep this up. We're gonna delete your whole channel if you say something against what we want you to talk about. Okay, so in 2020, it was hard to talk. They took people offline, criminalized them just for questioning some of the things that the government was doing. Okay, and Donald Trump saw that and he said, okay, we can do that. Got you. I understand. Got you. So now when I go out and I want to do all this kind of stuff, okay, and I want to, destroy the world, do whatever I want to do, I'm going to control the media just like that. And you try to say something against me, I know I could do what y'all did in 2020. I can shut the news down, okay? Even on YouTube. I can even go on YouTube or some site and shut it down, okay? Just shut it down. You may think that, well, there are other places that are owned. You have to understand, Google I think Google is the number one. I just searched it the other day, actually. Google is the number one website on earth right now. It's the number one searched website on earth, Google, okay? People going on Google to find different things, okay? It's the number one internet browser, okay? And also number one website. So if Google, which is subservient to the FBI, subservient to Donald Trump's administration, if they are told by Donald Trump, now there are other web browsers, of course, there's Safari and so forth, but Google is number one, okay? Internet Explorer, but Google is number one, all right? And they have a lot of security that people are comfortable with. Now, if Trump says, look, anybody has a website that's speaking against me, I don't want them to pop up in your search at all. Get rid of them. If they talk against me, don't let them pop up in the search. Okay, put in the algorithm. Anything that's negative around my name, if you see that, make the whole website just disappear. Make the website not be found when people do a search. Okay, just get rid of it. Okay, if Donald Trump said that would happen. All right, and you may have a website that's online, but nobody will be able to find it. Okay, most people will not even know it even exists. You tell people to go find it, search for your site, and they won't be able to find it. Okay, and Donald Trump will just keep on pushing, keep on moving. Okay, this is how dictators gain power and do what they want to do. And it's only the beginning. I want to thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button, share this video if you can. Help this small YouTube channel out. Thanks for watching. God bless. Peace.